So welcome once again to our Netherlands webinar. And my name is Raminder, and I'm working here as a general manager admission and visa. And today we are going to talk about Netherlands higher education system. And I just want to just check that have you already been enrolled with our YouTube channel? If not, would request you to subscribe today for getting the latest updates. And about today's session, we are having Mr. Dipinder Bawa. He's the director of Indo-European. So welcome, Mr. Bawa.
Thank you, Raminda. I
Yes,
believe the voice was echoing in your side, but I think my voice will be fine. Raminda, can you,
absolutely.
you
Yes,
can
your voice is absolutely fine, Mr. Bawa.
fine. Thank you. So thank you
Okay.
everyone for joining us for this webinar. We are doing this series of webinar for last few weeks now during lockdown because we believe that information is something which needs to move on to our potential applicants. And this is why we are doing these sessions on different countries at different time. Every week we discover two different countries. Sometimes we do with the universities and sometimes we do on a country. So today when we talk about a webinar on Netherlands, it is something which is very upcoming destination. I wouldn't say upcoming, it's already there. It's more like undiscovered destination for many students because Netherlands being a small country, always not only Netherlands, I would say all the European countries are small country in terms of US, Canada, Australia. So they are very specific about the amount of students they want to have, the target groups, and the right international mix. And this is the reason why Netherlands promote its education abroad, but not very actively. So this is why Netherlands, you see a lot of students have now going to Netherlands because they get to know that a good replacement for Germany, Sweden, and Denmark could be Netherlands for various reasons.
Yes. So now to like since we are talking about the education system here, so if you could just tell us more about specifically the education system in Netherlands.
Definitely. So basically, let's understand, when we're going to go abroad, the first thing you have to understand is you need to know which kind of university and education system you want to follow. So in Netherlands, we have got two type of education system. One is called research-based universities and one is called University of Applied Sciences. The University of Applied Sciences is more on a vocational side. So if you want to have more practical knowledge, you want to have more hands-on experience, you will be picking up a University of Applied Sciences. If you are looking at research area, you want to do a PhD program, you want to do a program which is more of the research work, you will go for a University of Research. Some top university of research, we're talking about Delft University, one of the top universities, Amsterdam University. We're talking about many other universities in research as well. But University of Applied Sciences, you will find a lot more programs, and entry requirement to University of Applied Sciences is easier than University of Research always. When we talk about the University of Applied Sciences, they accept students at the bachelor level with the class 12th score. When you are applying for a research university, some of the universities have a criteria, just like Germany, that you have to have 13 years of education, or they ask for a very high percentage of marks in your class 12. It's more debatable. It depends upon university to university. But I give you a small example. Let's suppose, say, if you want to go for research university in Delft University. So Delft will accept your application once you have class 12 with 80% marks, because most of the applicants who qualify for Delft program should have this cutoff. But if you go for University of Applied Sciences, they will be able to take you even with 60% marks because University of Applied Sciences have lower cutoff. But how this works, so whenever you come from any country in the world, every single country applicant has a certain admission requirement. So you have to meet your country requirement. And who decided? It is an agency called NUFIC. Now, NUFIC is a similar agency which we see in Latvia as AIC. We see the SKVC in Lithuania. We see ENIC-NARIC in Estonia. So here we see NUFIC as one of those back-end agencies which define which student is eligible to come to Netherlands and who's not. In the past, in few years back, up till few years back, every university was obliged to go to send the documents to NUFIC, get it verified, and only then give the admission letter. But now recently the entire process has changed. Now universities are independent. They don't have to send documents to NUFIC, which means that the timing is very short now. Earlier it used to take 2 months, 2.5 months to get the admission letter from the university. But now up to 1 month, you can say you can get the admission because universities are independent. But if university has a concern, they have a doubt, they don't know whether you qualify, they send your documents to NUFIC. So this is not by default, but on the case-to-case basis, they keep sending it. Now, once you get the education, you go to the education system, your bachelor degrees are for 4 years. Majorly, bachelor degree in Netherlands is for 4 years. There are very few which are for 3 years or 3.5. The majority of them are 4 years, because you have internship and your period also in this 4 year time. So it's two internships majorly in your bachelor program. That's why you have 4 year program. So it comes as a bundle together. So it doesn't matter you go for a bachelor or master's. Internships are a very important role in Netherlands. At the bachelor also and at the master as well. For the master's program, you can go for 1 year program, you can go for 2 year programs. Major intake for both bachelors and masters will be September only. And there are few universities who run the program with multiple intakes. I would say probably just 20% university will have every intake. And there are a couple of universities who have more than 2 intakes. They have 4 or 5 intakes with the master's program. When we talk about when we're talking about the university and education system, I think the most important thing you have to understand is that Netherlands has a very strong, the university structures. They have a very hands-on experience with universities. They give you a very good quality of education. And one of the most important thing, which I personally like about Netherlands, is that everybody speaks English. So a person, even when I do counseling, when I do webinars, I always tell people who are more than age of 40, 50, they might not speak. But this is one country where I can guarantee you that everybody speaks English, and that's why because they have English as an official second language in their schools also.
Okay, so having talked about the education system in Netherlands, we would also want to know about that what kind of courses are available in bachelor's and masters, to talk about the streams and all.
Absolutely. Other than medicine, I can say you have all courses. You name it, they have it. Specifically, they have more agriculture courses. They have more the engineering courses. They have business. They have hospitality. They have management courses. They have MBAs. You name it, and they have it. And I would say they have good, decent 2000 program in English language across the country. But definitely, everybody finds something. It depends upon which city, because being Netherlands is not a big country. So you might get a university in Amsterdam or Utrecht or Venlo. They all are not a very big cities, but they are very close to each other, and they all are very dynamic. And they are the amount of international students is from all over the world. So you will not see. So see, one of the strong reasons why I will say Netherlands is a place to study, because here you will see an international exposure. Now, come on, Amsterdam is the one place where everybody wants to go when they go to Europe. That's the first place where they want to land in, and they want to. Tourism is one of the biggest source of income in Amsterdam. But other than Amsterdam, also the other cities you will find a lot of international students. So a lot of European students, not only non-Europeans, not only Asians, but a lot of European students would like to study in Netherlands for various reasons, because of the quality of education, English language. So a lot of Polish people, a lot of Germans. So you will be actually surprised, Raminda, if I tell you that the biggest number of students starting in international students starting in Netherlands is Germans. So yeah, because it's just across the border. So if you see, the Netherlands is basically have two border lines. They have a border with the Germany, and they have border with the Belgium, and they have English, they have French, they speak German, they speak Dutch. They are multiple. So the more you go to the closer side of the German border, you will see people speaking more Germans. So a lot of Germans, when they want to study in English, they switch the border. Very simple. So that's why, but because they're Germans, so they are counted also as international students. So majority, I would say 50% of international students in Netherlands is from Germany, and these statuses can be easily checked on the NUFIG website as well.
Right. So that is what I was about to ask, that, if we talk about the Indian students, that why should they particularly consider Netherlands as a study destination? Besides,
Okay.
this aspect, obviously, that most of German students are studying there, so they would be having language options available. What more to add
So,
on?
yeah, the main reason for Indian students is that, first of all, it is not that expensive as compared to, of course, Australia, Canada, New Zealand. We are talking about tuition fee. Let's talk about tuition fee. It starts from 7,000 euros. I'm talking about 8 sevens of 5,60,000 rupees starting range, and can
Okay.
go up to 7.5 lakh rupees, depending upon the university, depending upon the program. But this is your tuition fee approximately, say 5 to 7 lakh rupees. We are talking about quality education. We're talking about the international exposure. We're talking about students who want to study in Netherlands. They are more, if you want to study something in innovation. I give you a small example. This is one university called In Holland University. In Holland University have one program. The program is called as Bachelor in Business Innovation. This program is not about Bachelor in Business. It's for the people, for the young kids who want to be an entrepreneur. So they have very innovative programs. These
Right.
programs are not, a typical BBA or MBAs. You will see the lot of university in Netherlands also falls in the QS ranking. So students who are looking to go for a top rank university in Europe, they can also see Netherlands as one of the options. Then a lot of people say, have different opinion about the European countries. So people don't speak English. That's what they say. But in Netherlands, this is not the case. Everybody speaks English, so you will not have problem. Now, working part time as well, is allowed as a student. You can work part time during your education, or you can work full time during your. This is not and, it's or basically, or you can work full time during your holiday period of 3 months. Which means that student can have a part-time income. Netherlands supports a very strong opinion about the internships. So all the universities are very clear that the internship is mandatory. So when internship is mandatory, there's a huge amount of job database for students within Netherlands also, because a lot of companies in European Union, after UK is going Brexit, they are setting up a base in Netherlands, Amsterdam, right? I had been talking to a lot of people in corporate world, and they a lot of have confirmed that either Berlin, Frankfurt, or above both of them is going to be Netherlands, because it's easier to find the international skilled labor in Netherlands. You'll find a lot of people. You'll
Okay.
find a lot of people get attracted to this city because it's very vibrant. It's very approaching. A lot of people want to live there for a clean air. They have this just small example about Netherlands. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of viewers know all this, but somebody who doesn't know that Netherlands is most of the land in Netherlands is below sea level, which means that they have in Amsterdam. If you go, you see a very strong technology they have used for pumping out the water from canals. It's very well known in the world. So I have read an article, I don't know where, but it was says that the highest amount of vertical farming is in the world is happening in Netherlands, which means that they are growing their per capita agriculture very very fast, and students get a very good value for money. They get a good opportunity, and the most important thing, just like any other country, Netherlands is also giving a stay back option to students to stay back for the 1 year. You are studying a bachelor's program or a master's program. In both the cases, you will be allowed to stay back for the 1 year.
Right. So since we have already talked about that mostly all the courses are going to be in English language, but does the students have to know Dutch language as well to survive out there in terms of job opportunities or otherwise?
If it would be Spain or Portugal, my answer would be yes.
Okay.
In Netherlands, I think it's always good to learn it, but definitely survival will be absolutely no problem. There's certain countries where I have traveled a lot. I have lived, as well in Europe, and I personally feel that these countries have amazing people. They have a very good approach towards the Asian people. I'm also talking about the sensitive area of racism. You will not find, in Netherlands, in Denmark, in Sweden, the people are very good, and they actually give you a very welcome, when you join them in the work culture. So English is of course widely spoken, and I don't think so people need it. But yes, if you want to make Netherlands as your final destination, because as we always say, when you enter Europe, you're entering European Union. You might study in Netherlands, you might start learning Dutch language, but then you get a job in Germany, or in, let's say, in Poland or in Malta. So you would like to go there and learn their language and settle
Right.
down in that country. So I think some people can. It's an individual choice, but yes, it is always recommended to learn language, but not necessary in Netherlands as compared to Spain or Portugal.
Okay. Please also share about the admission requirements, and is IELTS a mandatory aspect?
Absolutely. You cannot enter Netherlands without an IELTS. If you want to study, it's a very simple formula you can use. The formula says that the first, if you have want to go for bachelor's, you need to have an IELTS of 6.0. If you don't have an IELTS of 6.0, some university, please mark it, only some universities are giving you a pre-foundation, English foundation courses. If you have 5.5, you do a 6-month course. If you have 5.0, then you do a 1-year course, and they do not give you the language course alone. So this is where the difference comes in from Australia and Netherlands. So Australia, they give you the language courses, but Netherlands will give you a combo. So if you do not qualify for the main course, they will not sell you the English foundation course, because then they see it as an immigration risk. So immigration is, anyways, always telling universities to play safe on these English foundation courses, because this is where they have most of the troubles coming in, specifically from Punjab or Gujarat area, where the people come into the country and they misuse the visa. But other than that, I would say that the visa is not a problem. If so English point of view, this was the requirement. For the masters, it's by default 6.5. You can in case you have again for a 0.5 less, if you have 6 bands, then you have to go for a 1-year program. And if you have 5.5, sorry, if you have 6 band, you have to go for half-year program. And if you have 5.5, you have to go for 1-year program for the master courses. And the admission point of view, if you have 55% marks, you can get an admission to applied University of Applied Sciences. If you have approximately 75 plus, 70 plus, I would say, you will get to a research universities. But if you're talking about a top rank university and research university, we're talking about somewhere like 75 to 80% marks for the like University, Delft University as well. Yeah.
Right. So after receiving an admission, so how does the visa process works for Netherlands?
Okay, so it's a very simple thing. 99.99% university don't charge an application fee, which means it's free of cost. So you don't have to pay it. We make the application. Once we make the application, university will review the application. Some university would like to do a Skype interview. They will do an interview with you. And after the interview, you will be getting an offer admission letter. Now, when the student have the admission letter, they are supposed to pay the tuition fee, which means that Netherlands is one of the country which charge you the tuition fee in advance, and that too for the full year. You do not have to, you can't pay per semester like Sweden, you cannot pay like in other countries, so you have to pay full year. Then after paying the tuition fee, you have to apply for your visa. Now, this country is a bit different from an entire European Union. Once you have got the admission and once you have paid the tuition fee, Netherlands will be the university from Netherlands will be responsible for your visa, which means that when you have paid the tuition fee, then they will apply for your resident permit, now which we call as MVV. Now MVV is a permit type which is given to a student, a plastic card basically. They will apply, but then to apply for that, they will ask you after the tuition fee to send a set of documents. Now these set of documents will have your date of birth certificate. This will have your bank balance from you or your sponsor. Could be a parent, could be a friend, could be an uncle. Approximately, we're talking about 12,000 euro sponsorship. In Indian currency, I'm talking about 9 lakh rupees approximately. This have to be shown in the sponsor's name, and the sponsor certificate also has to be attached. Now, once you send this document after tuition fee, university will take these documents and the application form. They will run it to the IND. IND is called as the Immigration of Netherlands. They will take the application, and then within 20 days time, you will have an approval. Once you have the approval from the IND for the MVB, student will be asked to go to the nearest embassy, and they will have to submit their passports. Now, the out here, there was no, till now, there was no interview. So the MVB, the resident permit is approved, everything is done. Student go to the embassy, submit the passport, in 48 hours, get a stamping. Now, the important question is, then am I going to be interviewed in the embassy? And this is one thing which people ask. So the answer is basically yes and no both. So you get basically an admission, you got the MVB, but you got it without the interview in the embassy. When you go to the embassy, you will be asked the basic questions, which of course we will help you to prepare about your course, about your motivation. Just in case you do not have right motivation, or you have something hidden in your application, and if that comes out, the visa officer will hold your printing of the visa and has to report back to your university. Now, there's a difference out here. I'm not saying they're going to refuse it. They will contact your university. They will give them a complete feedback that your applicant has certain conditions and should we still go ahead or or you want to withdraw this visa. Now,
Okay.
on the information shared with the university case officer, the decision will be made. So if the university case officer says, no, I know my student and he's a good student, I've taken his interview, everything's fine, he will get the visa. He will get a D-type printing of the visa for 3 months to enter Netherlands. But if your basic interview doesn't go well, the university really thinks that they might have to reconsider. If they cancel it, only then your visa get cancelled. This is a very unique system in the Netherlands as compared to other embassies where your visa is straight away refused by the embassy itself. And as I said, they're working very strongly, very closely with each other. So the embassy is connected to the immigration officer also, and also to the university international office very quickly for the communication. And it's
Mhm.
all happened within a few hours or days, I would say.
Okay. So
Now,
talked about. Mhm. Yes,
yeah,
please go
so
ahead.
basically, no, so basically, you get the 3 months visa. You take the visa, you come into the country. Once you enter the country, you apply for TRP card, temporary resident permit card, which you
Okay.
already got MVB card, which you already got the approval in India itself. So, and now you are a student, and now you are allowed to work also. Just for your knowledge, a lot of students get confused whether 10 hours or 16 hours of part-time job. So it's 16 hours of part-time job allowed in Netherlands. 10 hours used to be old system and has a new information now. And yeah, you can work part-time. And as I said, either 16 hours a week or full-time during holidays, June, July, August. Then you can work in as many hours you want, but not both.
Right. So that was my next question, that what exactly is the difference between MVV and the residence permit, which you already answered. That MVV is basically a provisional permit to enter Netherlands, and residence permit is, after you reach there, you collect it from IND, and then
Absolutely.
you,
It's just a
right.
Schengen visa, which 99% of embassies gives you to enter. Somebody's
Okay.
giving you 3 months, somebody's giving you 6 months, but whatever visa you get from India, it is going to be a short-term visa because
Hmm.
the law says that, the EU law says that anybody as a non-European who wants to live in Europe more than 90 days have to take the resident permit. There's no
Right.
way that any student can live on visa for the entire duration until and unless their course is less than 3 months.
Right. So since we have already talked about the part-time job you were mentioning, so like if we talk about Indian students, do they easily get jobs in Netherlands?
So, Nitin, I'll share a very personal thing. I will share my personal experience because I think that's going to make things more easier. So, I was in Netherlands last year in 2019, and in September, and I was there's a lot of Indian restaurants in Amsterdam. Just a walking distance from this train station. So, I went to one restaurant, and I then started going to the restaurant again and again for my 4 days of duration. And I got in touch with the owner of the restaurant, and I started talking to him, and we had chat. So he's from Punjab, from Hoshiarpur, and then I was talking to the same question that, how about the job opportunities and, when the student actually get it? And he said that my students who are working with me, they are all are students and I saw them myself, and they're getting paid 1,500 euros to 1,700 euros as a salary. And he's like, I had 3 restaurants and I have to close 2 because I didn't have manpower.
Okay.
So there's a huge crunch on these kind of jobs, student jobs. And then he said, when you go on the main walking street of the Amsterdam, you will see. That time he told me, what exactly the word mean in Dutch. He said this is going to be written on the main glasses, on the shops that they want people, as an ad. And he's like, just because I didn't have people, I have to close it down. So now I'm back in my own one restaurant only. But then there are n number of jobs for students that they want to do because it's a very important place as compared. If you see, it's very centrally located. The tourism, lands there. I would say the Amsterdam airport has the highest number of flights basically, and it's one of the biggest airport in the European Union. So you can imagine that all the business and all the tourism always happen from here. So normally people try to start their journey for tourism also from here. So this is why it is an epicenter for tourism for Europe, and a lot of connecting flights also from Europe fly from a lot of US flights, Asia to US flights. They stop by the Amsterdam. So there's a very big traffic going on. The jobs have, there's absolutely no problem with the jobs point of view.
Right. So also we would wish to we would want you to enlighten us about the peer opportunities.
Okay, so you have to work for 5 years, which we always say that if you have worked for 5 years, you can apply your permanent residency. Now, certain nationalities have to give up their home nationalities before they can take the citizenship, because that's how it works. But for permanent residents, so you have two stages. You have PR card and you have citizenship. So PR can be taken in 5 years, and for citizenship, it will take a year or two more, and but you have to give up the citizenship. They do not allow dual citizenship. So
Okay.
it's just like any other European country. It's easy.
Okay. So can the applicant bring their spouse to Netherlands as a dependent visa?
Yes, the applicant. I know there's a gentleman who has emailed me. I hope he's listening here today. He emailed me yesterday for this question, and I promised to answer him. So the process is very simple. If you want to bring your spouse to Netherlands, you have to first of all you have to land as an applicant in the Netherlands. You have to get your temporary resident permit card, and then only you can apply for resident permit card for your wife or your spouse, and you have to show approximately 10 to 11,000 euros in your account in Netherlands to apply the visa for the spouse. And once you do that, it is doable. But it is not as easily described. I would say it is not as easily informed. You will not find a lot of information on the web also. It's very contradictory information you'll find. But I have I've done a very deep research, and I've spoken to the immigration also. And I have seen also the students who have taken their spouses. So basically, yes, I can strongly say that if you want to take your spouse, you can take it. But if you compare with Denmark, Sweden, or other countries, it is better in those countries than Netherlands.
Right. So, besides this, also we would want to know that is there any age criteria as such for securing an admission?
Basically, when you talk about the age criteria, no, it's not a problem. But then a lot of universities have the criteria, not from the government point of view. So if you're a 35 years old student applying for a bachelor degree program, it doesn't sound good. So I would say basically, if you are applying for a bachelor's, you should be around about 25, 26, 27 years old. But then beyond that, it will be a concern for the university also. Some of the universities that why such an older student, such a mature students coming for bachelor program. Otherwise, masters 30, 35, also 40 is also no problem. In fact, I would rather say that you got two options. There's one very good option in Netherlands, which is called as top-up degree program. So we have a couple of universities who have 6 intakes. They have multiple bachelor degree program in business, hospitality, accounting, management, except engineering. They have majorly everything, even IT. These universities have 6 intakes, and they also have a program. This program is called as top-up degree program. In this program, if you have any 3-year bachelor degree from India, distance learning, correspondence, regular, if you have 50% marks also, 49% marks also, this is getting an admission into a good place in Europe is a bit difficult for a 49% student. But if that same student go for a top-up degree program, he will get a 3-year credit for his bachelor's, and he only have to do 1 year top-up. So, example, a 3-year BA student from Punjab University with a marks of 49% cannot get admission into master's program because he don't qualify in many universities. But the same student can apply for a top-up degree program in 6, 7 different fields. It could be business, and the best thing is that he doesn't have to have the same field. So a BA art student can apply for top-up in HR management, tourism management, business management, or any other degree. We have 6, 7 degrees, and he only has to pay. I can also tell you how much you have to pay. You can pay around about 9 to 10 lakh rupees for a 1-year program for the immigration visa costing, for the insurance, from the airport pickup, for the accommodation for the from the university, this 9 to 10 lakh rupees goes to the university account. It doesn't go to us, and they give you is this as a package completely. And this student basically will finish his 1 year program. In this 1 year program, 6 months is a classroom coaching, and the next 6 months is internship and thesis, and then you have a job seeker for 1 year. So one year from there, 6 to 18 months of the working, I would say, and you have 6 months of the education. So within 24 months, this is the one program where you can earn back your ROI very quickly.
Okay.
So if you go with the lower marks.
So talking about the current scenario, COVID-19, do you think that this is the right time that the students can consider even September 2020 intake?
Just as I said that I have spoken to universities and they said the MMD immigration is working, we are working, everything is working on. Netherlands basically being a very innovative country is being working very good. You know, in the situation they have a lot of options and solutions coming up. But yes, you can apply for the admissions because as we all can see, we are nearly not coming to the end, but we are coming to the opening of the machinery. So if the admission will happen for September intake now, which is going to be, this is the only option available. And if you even miss now, then you will not be able to make it for September intake. So yes, universities are open. They are taking the applications. I would say recommend 2 universities, very, very good universities, one for bachelor's. I would recommend In Holland University. In Holland University only offer bachelor degree program, and they have a program in data science. They have a program in business innovation, which I just mentioned. They have tourism also. They have aeronautic engineering also. And for students who want to do other programs in management, business, hospitality, anything else, there's a university. We have Wittenberg University, again, 40 minutes from the Amsterdam main campus. They're offering 6 intakes. So you apply now, and whenever you are ready with your visa permit, you can travel. So with a 6 intake means every 2 months we have an intake for all programs. So majority of the programs, just few programs are only twice in a year. So this top-up degree program also is a very good option. With a top-up degree program, any bachelor student with a 6.0 IELTS can apply. Even if you have an IELTS which is expired, can be considered for this intake. Because of the COVID-19 and IELTS is not able to conduct a test. So even the old IELTS examination has been considered by many universities in the European Union. So students, if you have an IELTS which is basically expired, don't worry, you don't have to give it again. If you have the IELTS, it can be used at this point of time.
And talking about the application deadline, do we still have universities who are open for the same?
Yes, as I just mentioned, 2 universities are open right now.
Okay,
they have
besides these
programs.
right.
Besides these, also we have to go university by university, depending upon, like let's say Fontex University is open. They have engineering programs. So they have mechanical, they have electrical, they have IT. So we have all kind of programs. It's just that student has to come and approach us very quickly. Otherwise, we lose the application intake. And many of the universities do not have January intake, which means that you can start the program. And as soon as the immigration, so one thing is very clear, immigration will send you an MMD. It's working, no problem. Just that your local embassy has to be open to print the visa. And I'm counting that before September, the Netherlands embassy will open and the flights will also open. In case that doesn't open, let's suppose in a worst scenario, the student will travel the next month.
Right. So this is a good idea in terms of dropping this intake. The students can prevail the online classes in the meantime and later on continue in October or maybe November.
Absolutely.
As per
Absolutely.
the situation. Right.
Absolutely.
So Mr. Baba, now we are going to start with the question and answer session so that we don't miss on to that part as well. Right.
Please.
So to start with, we are having Yogesh Thakkar. And Yogesh, I believe we have already answered your question about the age requirement and the IELTS requirement. Right. So Shana Mugan wants to know regarding the details of MSc manual therapy courses in Netherlands.
Okay, MSc manual therapy courses. First of all, we have to understand, Shanamugan, if you can contact us with your profile and your, and then we can try to find, because these courses are very specific courses and we have to find these courses in a specific universities. Once we find the course, we have to check whether they are eligible for the, if you have the education in India, they allow you or not. So any student applying for medicine courses or courses related to human science, or natural science, we deal with them case by case. If not in the Netherlands, then we can give you other option also. But before I can give you any option in the Netherlands or in European country, I really want you to send me an email to me. I'm going to write my email address here on the chat window, so you all have it, and you can email me up as well. Your CV. So I hope you can see it here now, and you can. Yeah, I've just posted my email address. Please send me your CV, your queries. It comes directly to me, and I'll be happy to answer them up. And in case you would like to talk to me or have a personalized meeting with me after the last session, there's a lot of personal meeting I've done on Zoom because a lot of I've now opened this Zoom personal meeting session where I sit with you for 30 minutes. I understand your profile, and then I will tell you which university in Netherlands or in outside Netherlands is going to be good for you, and accordingly you can apply.
Right. So, the next question is IELTS mandatory? So yes, as we've already mentioned, IELTS is mandatory. Jaspreet also wants to know that can she apply for the study visa in any country without IELTS?
Yes, Chakri, we have a lot of countries where you can apply without IELTS, but then without IELTS doesn't mean without English. So there are countries where they give you visa for English programs, but there are countries where they do not give you program if you don't English. So depending upon your what is the level of your English, accordingly we will give you the country and the university. So please call us up, and then set up an appointment with us, and we can give a shortlisting to you, and it's all free of cost. You don't have to pay anything, which means that we can give you a detailed preview of the program and university you can go in.
Right. So Rohit wants to know that he has scored 5.5 band in IELTS. So is he eligible for a master's course?
If he, yes, if 5.5, no, you need to have 6.5. If you do not have 6.5, so Rohit, in this particular case, I would say the normal entry requirement is 6.5, but if you have 5.5, no, you cannot study. The question is that there are certain universities which are offering programs to you in the terms of with the English Foundation. So my strong recommendation will be, Rohit, go for a top-up degree program. Now, top-up degree program also asks for a 6.0, but the 6.0 program, if you have 5.5, we can talk to university and request them to give you the English preparatory plus top-up. So 6 months English preparatory plus 1 year of top-up degree program should be good for Rohit to start his application.
Right. So Rajveer has asked about the part-time jobs. Is it easy to get part-time jobs? I believe, Rajveer, we have already answered this question, but would you wish to add something, Mr. Bawa?
Just before we go, I have just also dropped the mobile number where you can call. You can fix up the meeting. So yeah, definitely part-time jobs, Rajveer. Countries like Denmark, Sweden, Germany, I don't see problems. Of course, problem is what tomorrow morning if I land into the country, even I will take at least a month to find a part-time job. But it is not like Ukraine or Russia where you have problem part-time job. You always have an approach to the solution. There are a lot of companies who are hiring students for part-time jobs and also full-time jobs. It all depends upon how what kind of research you have done and how good you are. So let's suppose I give you a small example. If I'm a student and I'm going for a master degree program, I will definitely make sure that I have a very good LinkedIn profile. If I have a good LinkedIn profile, it means that I'm literally sorted, because a lot of companies will find me and they will approach me. But if you don't have a good LinkedIn profile, forget about getting a job in European Union. So this is the small things which we see. A lot of people do not have LinkedIn profile even now in India. A lot of professionals don't have it. So how will you get recruited? How will you get hired? So you need to sell yourself, in the market. So this is what I can say. And but still coming back to the question, part-time jobs are very much available.
Right. So Muskan wants to know about the scope of psychology in Netherlands.
So psychology is a very upcoming field, not only in Netherlands, I would say anywhere in European Union. But again, depending upon you want to do clinical psychology, or other stream of psychology, which kind of program you want to focus on. But yes, there are job opportunities, but not only in Netherlands. I would say there's strong Denmark, Sweden also are the country where a lot of students with psychology background get a very good opportunities, because there are a lot of companies handling these companies gives a lot of focus on this kind of area. So if you're looking at psychology, Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, so it is Scandinavia, any of the Scandinavian countries, and Netherlands can be a good combo to apply the application.
Right. So, Rahul, a very good afternoon to you from Mr. Bawa. So, I'm just going ahead and reading your question. He's 42 years, MBA Finance by Education, and at present employed within IT industry for the last 8 years plus. So, he wants to know if he can apply for either a top-up program or a PG program.
Okay, so basically, if you are a 40 plus student, I would say you can apply for a master's with 6.5. If you have 6.0, you can apply for an MBA program in Denmark also. I will recommend that Denmark program because we have a lot of students who are 40 plus. We have sent them to Denmark for this program. To know more about the program, please call us up. Set up a meeting. I've sent my number and my email address to you. Send me a CV, and I'll be happy to help you personally out of this webinar.
Right. So Pinky wants to know that how much gap is acceptable.
So gap is not a problem in Netherlands or in European Union as long as you have a. So European Union says that lifelong learning, right? Which means what? Which means that anybody can study anytime, but then your motivation should be studies and not misusing a visa. So as long as you have, so as I said, if you want to go for a 45 years old person also want to go to Denmark for an MBA program or to Netherlands, we can manage it. Application can be done. University will accept it. You will get the visa. But the only thing is that you need to have a motivation to finish the program. A lot of time, we as the agency get a lot of negative feedback from universities when students misuse the visa. I'm very open about it. I'm open about I always talk about those colleges which are bad. I give their names as well in certain countries like Latvia. In my last video, I told which college not to apply. At the same time, we as a agency see a lot of problems because students are not motivated as soon as they land in the country, just because they only focus on part-time jobs. So if you want to stay in Europe, if you want to get settled in Europe, European Union need people, but they need qualified professionals. They don't need qualified blue labor collar jobs. The reason is because they have enough from Romania, they have enough from Bulgaria coming, or from Armenia or from Ukraine. So they see Indians as talent. They talk about Indians on a very high scale because we have got. A lot of we Indians have taken a lot of good jobs in these countries. Specifically, Netherlands, you see TCS, Wipro, all the big names. Indians are handling the entire back-end operations for these countries. So definitely, if you want to go and do education, you can go to these countries. You can have a good education and then lead to a permanent residency also.
Right. So then the next question comes from one of our participants. I'm sorry, I don't have his name here. He's asking his IELTS expired in 2007 and he scored band 8 overall. Will it still be accepted?
Most likely, yes. There are a lot of universities that are accepting the old IELTS, as I already mentioned. Please contact us directly and send me a CV. I'll quickly have a look. I'm available in the office today also. I can, in fact, have this meeting with you today itself. And then we can tell you which all university we can apply for. There are many, many universities in European Union which are accepting old IELTS or without IELTS.
Right. Bhumika wants to know how much bank balance she has to show in the student account.
If you're applying for Netherlands visa, you have to show approximately 9 lakh rupees. If you are applying for a spouse visa also, then again you have to show 9 lakh rupees. But in the student visa, you have to show this money either in your account, it could be fresh money, no problem, or in your parents' account or any of the sponsor account. In case you use sponsor account, you can actually, you have to have a sponsorship letter. If it's in your own account, you don't need any letter.
So can the spouse work full-time? Amit wants to know about it. And is child allowed? If allowed, his education is free in school or not?
Can you repeat the question again?
Amit wants to know that can the spouse work full-time? And are the child allowed?
Yeah, if the spouse got a job, they can work full-time. Yes.
Okay. And does the student, if a child is allowed, will he or she get a free education there in the school?
In the European Union, you have the social system. They have the public schools are nearly free and the privates are paid. So once you have a TRP card, depending upon the school to school also. But certain countries like Denmark, Sweden has a by default rule, that public schools will be free. But certain countries, in European Union, they have different. But yes, I can say the whatever you get, the basic schooling will be free of cost.
Right. So, Rahul, you're more than welcome. He's saying thanks to you. And Harpreet, Netherlands spouse visa. We have already answered that, Harpreet. So, coming up to Nilesh, he's asking about IELTS nowadays. Probably he wants to know about, if a student doesn't have IELTS as of now because of the lockdown and all, his son is learning it online, but there is no exam date. So, how to go about?
Okay, so there are different kind of tests. Once you finalize with us, the country and the university, we can give you a solution. Somebody is taking Cambridge test, somebody is taking Skype interviews, somebody is taking, the other online testing as well. So depending upon the country and the university, I can recommend you, but I cannot give us one answer for entire European Union. But definitely, yes, the Duolingo test is also there. So some depending upon the university, we can tell you yes, this particular university is accepting this test. So please contact us with the CV, and we can tell you right away.
Bhumika, I believe your answer is also answered about the Duolingo test acceptable or not,
Oh yes, there
right?
are many
Huh.
universities which are accepting it. There are many of them.
Okay. Then moving ahead. Um,
Just want to add this. Even the Ireland immigration has approved Duolingo as the official test for the September 2020 intake. So because in Netherlands, in Ireland, you have to have an IELTS. You can't make an application. But again, for this year, they will accept this test. Yeah.
Amit wants to know, can we pursue post-grad diploma also? PG diploma.
Amit, I would say this top-up degree program should be a post-grad diploma only, but it's called as top-up degree bachelor, which means you get a bachelor degree from Netherlands. They do not have certain kind of I know what you mean. You mean like pre-masters. There are some pre-master program, but they're only for those students who do not qualify for the masters. So in European Union, you either study bachelors or you study masters, and in between you study only when you don't qualify for either of them. So my strong suggestion would be go for a top degree program that will help you as a postgraduate diploma
Right.
and
So
also give you a
Nilesh,
bachelor degree from Netherlands.
Nilesh Kumar again wants to know about any college for computer engineering, BE or BTech, and also he would wish to know if he can go with his son and stay with him.
Basically, no. If you cannot go and stay with your son, you can go and see him for 6 months in a year, one shot 3 months. So 3 months of one shot, and then have a gap of 3 months, and then 3 months. So total 6 months. So within 180 days, within 6 months, you can live 3 months. So you have 2 times in a year, so you can stay 6 months only. First thing. Second thing, if you want to son wants to study IT, I have an amazing program for data science. It's for the students who want to study data, big data, and it's a program which has a huge demand across European Union. People are anybody who has AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, right, wireless technology, cloud computing. These are the fields where you should study. Now, bachelor in IT is gone. Okay, you can do it, old school thing. But if I was you, then I would say I would go for these things because they have the future is here. I wouldn't say future, I would say present is here also. The present and future both is here only, and these courses are now in demand. And if you see, even I don't know how many of you know that, but UGC Grant Commission have already announced an individual in India can do a degree from India as one degree regular and another degree as correspondence or distance learning, which means that one person can have 2 degrees. Why are they saying that? Because they want people to have skills. Because a lot of people do not have certain skills. So, like a business guy don't have IT skills, so he will do a business degree regular and an IT degree in the correspondence mode. So, this is the time when we say that degrees will not give you enough knowledge. You need skills. So please do your bachelor's as focused as possible. Earlier, we used to do counseling. We used to say you do a basic courses, but if you're doing IT, I would say start from the very beginning which field you want to go in. Big data, cloud computing, artificial intelligence. And the best thing is that these universities, European universities, have these courses already running for many, many years now.
Right. So, Pinky, no, here comes Almas. What is the difference between the top-up program and Masters in Mechanical Engineering? And for both of them, are the job opportunities similar?
Basically, Maz, I know you. We have already been talking to you for your son for the Lithuania. The top of degree program are basically given in the field of management and business, hospitality, but not mechanical. So, top of degree program are for those students who have a 3-year bachelor degree in distance learning, and they have 6 IELTS, or their education is have they have low score. So when low score student can't get into a good master program, then they do a bachelor top up, and once they do a bachelor top up, they will have a bachelor degree from European Union, which will give them a master degree admission very easily. So for a BTech mechanical student, I would say in Netherlands they will not be having any good option. I would say not top up degree program. We should look at the masters only.
Right. So Sunil Kashyap wants to know that, if someone has yet to appear for the IELTS, how is it possible during COVID-19? And further, that September intake is about to come. Only couple of months are left. So how to go about
As I
admissions?
already mentioned, that please call us. We will. I will again drop my number basically here, and you can call me up, and we can understand, and check out which university and country you want to go, and which kind of test they are ready to accept other than the IELTS, because we all know it is not working. But yes, it all depends upon course to course basis, university to university basis. So having a detailed discussion with us is possible. I cannot say how, because some universities are very strict and they're like, no, we need an IELTS, otherwise defer the intake. But many of them are giving the solutions. So please, be in touch with us and we can give you the solution. I'm also
Im-
writing my email address one more time. So anybody who has missed it, I have just posted my number, and you can book an appointment and we can have a Zoom meeting. And I'm also posting an email, so you can send me a CV and I can do a shortlisting for you instantly.
Right. Imran wants to know that his brother has done BDS, Bachelor's in Dental Science, in 2019. So what is the further scope in terms of practice?
Okay, so if anybody who has got any bachelor degree in medicine, you have to one thing is very clear, that by going to any European country and doing your research program, you're doing your MS or MD, postdoc, will not give you an access to the job market, because you do not have a license. When you don't have a license, you can't practice. So technically, going for a program which is post bachelor's, let's suppose say if you have done dentistry, you go for MDS, right? But then even if you do an MDS, you come back to India, you practice, you're good to go, no problem, because you're a licensed doctor in India. But if you say that I want to stay in European Union, I want to practice it, then you go for basically a master degree program in English language related to your programs, or in public health, learn the local language, okay, and then you have to pass your test. So I do not want you to get confused. If I give you a program, that doesn't mean you can practice there. I have got a lot of cases, a lot of students approaching me that my agency never told me this thing. They gave me a program and I took it and I came back to European Union, and now I'm stuck. So I'm stuck because I cannot practice. I only got to know this 5 months, 2 months, once I started my course. When I started talking to my professors, and they said, you can't practice here because you're not licensed practitioner. So to have a license, you have to pass a test. In your brother case, if you study in MDS in Europe, first of all, to get you an MDS in Europe, it's impossible because of the language thing. So the best thing would be anybody who has MBBS or dental, you can study your program in a public health program, enter into the public health program, be in the country, start learning the language, give the test of the local medical council, convert your license, and then start your master's or MD program in your field.
Right.
If you want to live there, but if you want to study there a course of your choice and come back to India, then it's fine. That's okay.
Right. Anisha Bara wants to know what are the various scholarship programs available in Netherlands.
Yes, Anisha, there are scholarship programs available depending upon the university to university. There are some state scholarship also from the Dutch government, depending upon when you apply. But then most of the students, when they are in their class 12, if they finish the class 12, by the time they finish, the scholarship is gone. But many universities give you discounts on the tuition fees. So let's say if the tuition fee is 8,000 euros, they might give you, if you're a good student, if you have good academics, they give you a scholarship of 2,000 euros or 3,000 euros on the tuition fee itself. But there are few scholarships available but for the only for early bird when you apply very good in time. I'm talking good, and good in time means January, February you make an application.
Right. So, Shana Mugan wants to know that he is into a healthcare professional. So, after completing his postgraduate degree, will they allow me to work or should I learn local language? So,
Uh,
I think we have already answered about the
yeah,
healthcare professional.
yeah. So you can definitely do. But if you what is the qualification, Ravinder?
He mentioned healthcare professional.
So if you have a healthcare professional like public health, health management, definitely there are a lot of jobs. So if you study these master courses, there are you have jobs in corporate sector, you have jobs in companies, you have job with pharma companies, and a lot of other places also, because healthcare professionals are very much in demand. I was telling about the MD doctor very specifically for medicine,
Right.
MPS, and dental people. For them, doing a specific course and then learning a language and then converting into license is the best way. And for health professionals, for public health and health administration, health management, you can study master degree program because you do not need a license to be a practitioner.
Right. Kartiki wants to know what is the duration of the post-study work visa in Netherlands.
1 year, doesn't matter which program, bachelor, masters, you can stay 1 year for the job seeker visa.
Right. And Meher wants to know that do we need 9 lakh in students account after paying the full year tuition fee?
Yes, you need to show in students account or in the parents account, and we when we will go upload this video on the YouTube, we will definitely also drop all the links, which we talk about when we talk about so you have easily access to these things, which we're talking about.
Right. So Varun Ahuja is, sharing his wife's profile that she has done general IELTS. She's a chartered accountant, company secretariat. Her age is 42. Is there any scope of her to pursue education in law?
What is the bachelor degree basically?
She's a chartered accountant. Degree she is not been mentioned. Company secretariat.
If she doesn't have a law degree, she can't do masters in law. It's quite difficult. But yes,
Mhm.
she can do. There are certain programs which we can offer you.
Mhm.
Please talk to us, in private, so that we can do a counseling session and we can do a quick shortlisting for you for these courses.
Okay. Uh, is does the distance education in IGNOU acceptable?
Some universities, yes. Some countries also they accept it. Netherlands, yes, they do.
Right. So about the first semester, is it going to be an online because of COVID?
Again, depend upon the country. Most likely, I'm expecting that a lot of countries will open. If you ask me, my expectation is that 95% European countries going to be open for the visa for September intake. But when they will open, there's a lot of students who will not have the admission. See, visa is a last stage of the whole process, the whole project of study abroad. So
Mhm.
visa is something which we do when the entire 90% of the job is done. The students who haven't applied yet, they need to apply it now. Otherwise, you are going to miss the entire intake. Because as I explained to you, the Netherlands visa will take approximately, say, 15 days to 100 days, so 15 days to 30 days time. But it's only when your entire other process is done.
Right. So, Nilesh, you are more than welcome for the answers if you have liked, and same goes for Mrs. Almas Mujamvar. You are most than welcome. You can get in contact with us. Okay, we have already answered this. Okay, so Pinky wants to know if, in case the visa refuses, does the tuition fee will be refundable or not?
Absolutely. It's refundable to students' account within the
Mhm.
1 month's time, and with no problem. And basic deduction would be the bank charges, nothing else.
Right. So we apologize if there is some network problem, and you were not able to listen. And I believe we have already answered Hariharan for your question about the distance education in IGNOU. Is
We
it
will be, we
acceptable?
will be, definitely IGNO is accepted, and not only in the Netherlands, a lot of other country also. But anybody who has a network problem, we're going to be loading this in this session on YouTube in next couple of hours, and like we do always, and you can also download it or watch it later with your friends, or you can share this as well.
Right. So, Mrs. Almas, you can get in touch with us. We will definitely answer this particular question of yours, which you have mentioned here. And Muskan is asking. Okay, we have answered it. Pinky says in the spouse case, is the spouse education matters or not?
No, it doesn't matter.
General module for IELTS acceptable for
Yes,
studies or not?
yes. Many universities are accepting it as a English test. Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Even
So
GT.
right. So Rahul, hope your question has been answered. Okay, I believe we have answered most of the questions here. Just
We have Meher asking. So does the 9 lakh in student account can be
We've
used
already answered.
over the year for expenses? That's how this is the amount of money you're showing in 9 lakh in student account. Yes, you can use, because this is the whole point of showing the money that you can use also, and it will be very much easier. That's why they want to see. So you can use this money. Absolutely no problem.
Right. Pinky wants to know that working rights are for 16 hours in a week and full time in vacations. These both are applicable or not? Basically,
No,
she.
either of them, not both.
Okay. Okay. So, what about IELTS nowadays?
Pinky, if you, I can also understand that you have I think there's somebody who's asking, Sangya is asking for the bachelor degree from India and master from Italy, and I have 8 years experience. I'm looking for fully funded PhD. So fully funded PhDs are, yes, we can do your PhD application also. Please contact us. We have dropped our email address and phone number above. You can call us up and we can set up a discussion. For we do one-to-one discussion, and we also help students to apply for PhD applications. And so if you're looking for a PhD, a fully funded or a partially funded PhD or a paid PhD, yes, we do process the application for PhD also.
Right. Amit Babur wants to know how much old funds are required. Is it 1 month or 6 months?
Yeah, 1 month is also okay. Old, new, anything is fine.
Karthike wants to know that does the universities accept TOEFL exam?
Yes, they do. As of now, I think we can get it. Doesn't matter if they don't, we can get it. Ask them to do it on an exceptional basis. It all
Oh,
depends upon if student come to us and tell us what do you want to study. We can quickly do a matchmaking, make some phone calls, and we can get it done.
right. Samta is 42 years and she has done CA and CS qualification and having a 20 years of post qualification experience. So what is her scope?
Uh, uh,
42, done CA and CS, 20
okay.
years of work experience.
So the age is 42. I would say strongly recommend you to apply for a master degree program or an MBA. I would say that's an MBA program, because there are a lot of universities and who want to have mature students in MBA. Denmark, Netherlands, you can get this program easily. Netherlands, you get the program for approximately the same price, more like approximately 9 to 11 lakh rupees program cost, entire program cost, and it's going to be 1.5 year, 1 year to 1.5 year MBA program, and you can even take your spouse along with you in both the countries.
Right. So Varun, you can speak to Mr. Bawa, for your wife case, the numbers are being shared here, right? And even his email ID has been shared. So you can just drop an email or just give him a call. He's just a call away. And we will be more than happy to help you out with all your queries regarding your wife's profile. So Ramandeep is asking that is there like 7 to 6 years of gap? So still can he get an admission in Netherlands universities?
Absolutely no problem.
Okay. Shana Mugan, I think we have already answered MSc manual therapy with job openings. So, viewers, any more questions? Is there anything else which needs to be discussed? Please feel free to put it here so that we can go ahead and answer them.
We have published the number one more time here. Basically, so if in case you have missed the number, you can call this number and set up a meeting with me. Uh, and we can have a Zoom meeting where we discuss the entire case study. So how we do work is we will be setting up this Zoom meeting with you, understanding your need and giving you solutions right and then and there itself,
Right.
including your costings, including your lifestyle, including the future point of view. Everything will bundle it together, so you have all the information right at your home, and you don't even have to step out, because I know you can see, as we all have we have logged. It's only our Delhi office have logged in. A partial amount of team members have logged in, so we do
Yes.
not have a lot of team members in the Delhi. But we are happy to help you back at your home itself. So please do not come to our office. You'll be able to take all the information on Zoom itself and try to stay safe and healthy. And we'll be able to process every single information and the application right from your home, and you don't have to come to the office also.
Right. So, Varun, I hope you have got Mr. Bawa's number right there on the screen and you can just call him maybe right after this webinar. And Nilesh's question is, what about accommodation? Is it inside or outside the university, and how much does it cost?
Accommodation, good question. We didn't touch it actually. Accommodation, approximately, we are talking about. See, Netherlands is going to be an expensive place. So we're talking about accommodation approximately 400 to 500 euros per month. You have to spend on Netherlands in Netherlands for the accommodation, and make sure you apply your accommodation as soon as possible when you apply, because some universities do not have accommodation. So it is us as the Indo-European who take the responsibility that we will get you accommodation before you fly. So it doesn't matter which country, which university you go, every single university and country, we give you admission services, visa services, accommodation booking. This is three basic services which we give to every applicant who applies with us. And depending, and even if you, once you reach there, if you're not happy, we get around about 10% people, across every year who are not happy with their country and university they've chosen. We help them to move to the next country. And this is how we make sure that we have 100% satisfaction rate with our students. And we always want that you should prepare your application well in time. So we do last minute application also, but all the last minute applications do not get that kind of service which we want to give. So I really want to request you all, if you are willing to go abroad, then please, it doesn't matter you want to go now. You can go in January or maybe next year, September, or even 2 years later, no problem. But we'll be happy to help you and plan your journey as soon as possible, because this will give you ample time to do a valid research and plan accordingly.
Right. So I believe we have almost answered all the questions currently available. And just in any case we have missed any of your questions, please feel free to contact Mr. Baba for any personal meeting or counseling sessions, and the email ID and the numbers have already been shared.
I have
Besides
one question, Varun, coming up. What about kid? Do they get education benefits?
benefits, Varun
Yes,
Ahuja.
depend. If you put your kids in the local school, government school, they're either free or very cost effective. Very not very expensive. If you put them in private schools, they're expensive. Specifically Netherlands, yes, it will be expensive. So you being a student, putting your child into a private school in the Netherlands will cost you as good as you are paying tuition fee. So I will recommend that but if you put your child in public schools, like in Denmark, it's free of cost. In Sweden, it's free of cost. So I would say public schools are better options.
Right.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining the session, and we'll be loading the session in next few hours on our YouTube channel. You can share with your friends and write all the comments you want to know. If you have any other questions for any other country, please send us by comments, and we'll be doing the next session as per your demand. Thanks a
Right.
lot. Thank you, Raminda, for doing the session.
Thank you, Mr. Baba. Thank you.